in this series and won't start now with an Nasus on his team. Ghost TP is the choice. Kaiwing has neglected to go for an exhaust against Kennen. I think Aja is going to make him pay for that one.
Yeah, at least once this game, there's going to be a massive Kennen ult that is not avoidable in the slightest.
Yeah, and it's so bizarre because that means he's expecting to kill in the 2v2 as Alistair Smolder. We will see if that is how this one pans out. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, they did get Omega hit last time. Waka was on the Smolder up against Ground Zero it was in game number 3.
Yeah, I can't remember what the ADC was. Was it Zeri?
Varus, I think. No, you're right. It was Zeri.
They straight up took a tower at like 11 minutes.
Yeah. It was Zeri. But, I mean, we'll see. It doesn't strike me as a lane you're going to be looking for kills in, and so it would, I mean, make sense to take Exhaust against Kennen, but not going for this game, maybe relying on Wither to slow down the Kennen from getting in and Headbutt to hit him out. But so many times we see this Headbutt from Alistair actually just do nothing to the Kennen.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to know exactly where the Kennen is, and TSG's so good at setting up vision so that their Kennen can be unseen with these TP flanks. And about the jungle pathing this game, on Lilia, probably the strongest thing you can do is start the enemy Raptors. With Conqueror, you are just stronger than every jungler. Pretty much every champ in the game at level 1. But that could mean his Raptors being traded away because his bot lane is just so weak at level 1, the Smolder Alistair, and you do not want to have a split map where you're stuck topside as the Lilia of this game. I think he wants to play around his bot lane and leave the Nasus. What happened to all this Kennen's HP?
Oh, I think he's just tanking up a few shots, but yeah, Jung doing very well navigating the early stage of this lane.
Yeah, and left to their own devices, it looks like the Nasus does very well here. Has to get to level 6 without getting dived on the Nasus, as Pretender is faring far worse than Jimmian in this lane.
Oh my lord, it's almost Maple solo killing this Corki again.
Yeah,
Different
held onto his TP. Has Pretender, but trading far worse in terms of HP compared to Jimmian. Pick your poison, I guess. What you prefer between losing your flash and having to lose your TP early.
Yeah, most likely will be matched though. Maple now looking for a recall, probably going to come back with a Cullen or a longsword or something akin to that.
Ooh, Woody takes a tower shot. That feels nice for Frank's bot lane.
Yeah, but they also do claim themselves plate number 1
on the first crash. And this time, actually, Betty decided to not go for his tier. Had the option to, crashing the 3rd wave very early there. Gemini, we're seeing why you don't usually take the Sejuani into the Lilia. This is not a close 1v1 at all. So, well played by Gemini to find where the Sejuani is going to be, contest him on the crab, make use of how much stronger he is in this matchup.
Maybe able to get a double crab now.
Yep, and can push Maple away, provide some help for his mid laner here.
Oh,
I see.
What a beast.
I don't think I've ever landed that spell playing Lilia. So well played to Gemini. And Jung owning up here, my goodness.
Yeah, up 10 CS, gonna force Arda to recall and come back to lane, punishing this blind pick Kennen very well.
Yeah, we might have a game on our hands here.
Might have a damn series on our hands.
Aja already TPing. I don't think he's even going to force Jung's TP out here. Kennen not amazing at wave clearing. Wako and Kaiwing have to crash this wave now. Both junglers bot side, so they should be okay, considering how much stronger the Lilia is at this point compared to the Sejuani. Betty, at this point, probably really regretting not going for the tier recall.
We'll be able to soon, I imagine.
Yeah, Wako just finds himself up quite a bit of mana, up CS until even CS, to be fair. Betty's going to pick up some extra creeps here. But really good bot lane so far for the side of Frank. Maybe the psychological edge gained through taking Ignite. As PSG looked like they expected an exhaust for sure. Taking the cleanse, generally a lot better against exhaust and ignite, and the heal, same deal.
Yeah, Jung up so much CS.
Yeah, it's this mid lane that's the problem. Pretender not faring as well as Jimmy. Nice Q lands for Pretender. Gonna get level 6 soon, and that'll help his trades out.
But as was the case in the previous games, Maple stacking away at a cull.
Yeah, this time also just with a massive CS lead.
Ginger has actually seen... Oh my lord, we've pulled the ghost button.
Yeah, not holding his nerve there, Jiang, and they're rotating Maple up here with all his prio.
Yeah, I mean, you're down 2-0. You got to be pretty nervous as he once again will connect with that E-Will Gemini.
Yeah,
will seed.
Gemini would love to fight this ASAP before Junjia gets 6. Woody, the target.
Yeah, but he has that battle dance available to himself, able to get out very easily, and actually now goes back in. Will force away the Valkyrie from Pretender.
6.
Junjia able to pick up 2 of those Void Grubs and just give over Gemini this third and final one, but headed towards the bot side, maybe look for a dragon if he so chooses. Wow.
Gemini deadly accurate with these E's, but he is currently homeless as a jungler, cannot contest this dragon, and has no camps to kill. So would have loved a fight there with how much stronger he is at this point, but the rest of his team is just not there for it. Gonna go do his Raptors now. Junjia gonna be 6 very soon. Yeah,
there it is.
The crab. And that means this dragon is uncontestable. Gemini does hit 6 as well.
Yeah, maybe looking to contest.
Yeah, Ezreal not even that strong relative to the Smolder right now. Definitely stronger.
Oh, Gemini missing that Q means he will be losing out on that passive.
Yeah, would have loved to keep his stacks there.
Oh, the nice stop on that engage coming through.
Here we go.
Once again, a smite from Gemini. He's so consistent with it as Kaiwing flashes away, as Junja flashes in and gets caught out. Now Pretender's coming down at Penny and Woody trying to run away. Mum will come down, maybe snipe away at this Rakan, but not quite able to connect as Woody jumps on out of there, and it's a trade of kill and dragon for just nothing. And Frank take a lead early.
Yeah, and I'm liking Gemini on this Lilia already. Buffered on the headbutt hold there, but he splashes in, smite steals it, lands a 3-man ulti. You couldn't ask for more from Gemini after such a slow game 2. He wakes up in this game and puts his team in a commanding position now. As in the meanwhile, by the way, Pretender just... Yeah, his team not even that excited. Kind of just expecting their jungler to win every smite, I guess.
Yeah, at this
just
point,
the norm.
At this point, if he doesn't, you're extremely disappointed.
Yeah, you're surprised actually. Why don't we have a dragon? There was a dragon killed.
Well, Woody getting jumped on here by Kaiwing, but he's gonna be able to jump on over to.
Yeah, sorry. In the meantime, I was gonna say Pretender just completely out-traded Maple while that was happening, and Maple had no chance to rotate. So bouncing back in this lane, in terms of CS as well, doing fine. Not doing it quite as well as Jimmy, I'd say, but...
Someone who's not doing well, though, is RJ up here in the top lane.
Yeah, this is suffering.
Jiang is destroying.
Now, I will admit, I would much rather have a Kennen on my team than a Nasus. So you almost have to win this hard on the Nasus and start getting these stacks going to be a side lane threat later on.
Oh, aggression. Waka caught up the barrier. E forward.
Okay.
And the Mystic Shot will connect. Waka, though,
plus
he does
2.
Stay alive.
Yeah, plus 2 on the way out, too. 62 stacks for him is perfectly fine, I think. Got no problems with that. Does accelerate the Smolder stacking. Once you get to, I believe, 125.
Yeah.
I can never remember if it's 115 or 125.
125. 115 is the zombie song.
Oh.
Pretender, Valkyrie, the culling. Not going to be able to connect there as Pretender does flash away, but Maple once again handing this lane to Pretender.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. Junjia. That was terrifying for the Quirky, but Gemini going to appreciate picking up some of this farm, honestly, as he's looking on form to maybe carry this one. They've allowed him to get what is seemingly the strongest jungler in the game now, between the Lilia and Zyra, in my opinion. Betty up here.
Yeah, Betty up here ahead of these Void Grubs, and I'm kind of surprised that out of all games, we didn't see PSG trying to look for a lane swap this game. Well, yeah, you know, giving the Smolder a free lane sucks, but you just would
I think they didn't expect the cannon to get destroyed this thoroughly.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't.
You know, me neither.
I knew it was a counter to the cannon that was being played in the LCK, but I hadn't actually gotten to see the matchup. Aja. Ulti's the wave. Is still just dead though, but gets the wave.
Oh, it's a nice...
Woody's here.
Yeah, the battle dance coming through. It's a quickness as well, but going to bed now is that top laner of PSG, Woody. He's stuck under this tower. There is no help coming. Who is going to pick up this kill? Although...
He just dies anyway.
Maple coming and...
Maple might die too.
Maple maybe, yeah.
Nah, no CC back here to stop him from just leaving, I think.
Although Gemini's doing a lot of damage. Maple trading pretty well, but Wako here now, and it's a disaster. 4 kills in favor of Frank, and they're fighting back in game number 2. They're up 2k gold. Things looking good.
Yeah, and these are the kind of mistakes we saw out of West Point and J-Team, never PSG, over committing members to their weak side. I was surprised that Woody was here in the first place. This is not how you need to play this fight if you're Aja, considering Woody's here. If Woody's here, you have to play for the outplay rather than clearing the wave. Clearing the wave is fine if you're just sacking the cannon here. But once you use your ulti on the wave and Woody tries to save you, there's no damage coming back. Jiang, on the other hand...
Yeah, he's locked up. He does try and use everything he can to get out of this, and he might just do so. Too tanky is Jiang on the Nasus.
Not scared of the Q out of this Ezreal either. Oh, this might be the legendary triple Triforce composition. Out of Frank, it should be. As Jiang actually has his TP back, so Gank survived. He did make it to level 6 and becomes extremely difficult to dive. Treat yourself and read the tooltip on Nasus ulti sometime. Just see how many stats that champion gains. As it is the case with a lot of these older champions that because their kits are so outdated, their numbers are just obscene in terms of stats.
And treat yourself and read his passive too. It's one line of text.
Yeah, that too.
One of the
simpler time.
The few champs in the game that is the case for.
Yeah, newer champs' passive kind of reads like a novel. Or at the very least an Edgar Allan Poe poem or something.
Now, Dragon, number 2, in favor of Frank. It was PSG who, while that dive happened bot side, were able to pick up 3 more Void Grubs, so they do sit on 5. But 2 Dragons once again for Frank in game number 3. They are ahead this time to an almost, I guess, just over 2k gold. But you kind of, as you said, you kind of need to be right in terms of this top lane in particular, because the cannon, in theory, will just be a lot more useful than the Nasus in a team fight. But 2 levels up is Yijiang on this Nasus. Is the bot lane tower also taking a heavy amount of damage.
Yeah, and it feels like Frank kind of straight up won bot lane when you consider it is a smolder. As Pretender has to get his butt out of there. And yeah, PSG looking to group for this tower, realizing they're going to lose first tower if the game stays as it is, and they're going to go for a dive on Pretender. No flash on this Porky, but his team is here.
Also, one thing I noticed, we're not getting the based Aja Kinnan build. He's going for the Leandries.
Yeah, maybe just needs it to hang on in the side lane. Wako,
yeah, very, very low here. He's going to have to use that barrier. It's a nice stop of that ultimate from Sejuani. Gemini getting in the way of it, but Woody's here. Woody got the quickness, and True Shot Barrage goes wide. A misplaced ultimate there from Betty, but he's able to get over this wall. He gets headbutted back into Wako. One more Q would do it. Can he find it? No, he doesn't even need it. Just the auto attack takes down that Smolder. And Kaiwing delivering Betty a kill.
Yeah, Betty single-handedly breaks the game open by finding Wako lacking in the mid lane there. And might have just won his team the first tower. We'll see how Pretender and Kaiwing managed to hold on. Maple, very low HP.
Yeah, it does have a bit of lifesteal, but as you said, very low. Probably not going to be able to heal enough to justify going for a dive.
Wako just dizzy. Just dizzy here. Walking up the river against the much stronger Ezreal at this point in the game. Dodges a couple Qs, and ultimately it's Junjia with this very tricky ulti onto Gemini. Expecting, he gets the most out of the way he plays that with the Sejuani, right? Because Wako's going to flash it anyway. You end up chunking out the Lilia. And Ignite, not doing a whole lot there, gets cleansed immediately.
Yeah, and Kaiwing just headbutting Betty right into Wako.
Yeah.
And he was getting a kill either way, but just changed on, was it going to be a kill onto the Lilia, was it going to be a kill onto the Smolder? And Smolder it was. Probably didn't want it to be the Smolder, but In any case, Frank, they're still looking good. They're still up 1.5k gold, but Ginger now looking for Yichang on the bottom side. He is going to have that ultimate available to himself. The Wither as well as Maple getting headshot by the tower.
Comes Woody though. Dodge.
Yeah, Zhang got those fancy feet, but eventually will be found as Maple claims himself a kill there on the Nasus. It's Pretender, however, taking the tower, but PSG somehow narrowly getting that first tower.
Yeah, Frank do get the Rift Herald. You can count the first tower as kind of getting an extra turret though, so they do have to pressure mid with this, and looks like they're doing the right thing. No cleanse on Betty. He has to be careful interacting with Gemini here.
Yeah, I mean, Ginger here
has ult.
Glacial Prison does go wide there. It's going to slow down Kaiwing just a little bit, but Betty's finding so much damage on this Ezreal. Deadly accurate is he with these Mystic shots as Pretender now being looked at the E forward, and that's half your HP gone.
They gave up a tier 2.
Oh, Maple, yeah, soloing it.
Yeah, just horrible macro from the side of Frank. Pretender takes the tower top and doesn't recall, just kind of runs around, and they feel really pressured to do something with their Rift Herald immediately. PSG outplay the fight mid and outplay the macro too. Has to be frustrating if you're Frank.
Maple
in trouble.
Oh no, he's just eat into this Nasus, and he's going to have to flash away. The culling being used. Woody, he's going to sleep. Good night, sweet prince, as Woody is going to be taken out, although he flashes away. He uses that quickness. He might just get out. The E. Oh my god, he does. And what happened there? Oh, Mum came down and Woody survives.
Oh no, Frank are just getting outplayed. Oh, they just can't catch a break.
And that is Maple, who hasn't recalled after picking up a kill and a tier 2 tower.
And a first blood
tier 1 tower.
So he's about to recall and buy 20 items. Full SC Reaver I just saw. As the bowling ball goes wide this time around. Jiang very nicely peeled by Woody. Gemini tanking a lot of this culling, and then decides to not chase Woody here and just kind of run at the Lucian. None of his team is following up. I think he expected Kaiwing to wrap around behind this Lucian. He probably should have. Maple not quite having flash up there, and game's just falling apart for Frank. Now dead even.
Dead even, but so much gold here on the Lucian.
Yeah.
Evening up that kill score in terms of those two mid laners, but picking up 2 towers for himself, and he is going to be scaling into this game very quickly. Wako, though, he is making his way to those stacks. 163 he sits at right now.
Yeah, stacking, well, not amazingly. You know, good, not great, as far as the smolder stacks go, but what is great is having 2 dragons already, meaning you can just ignore these ocean dragons going over to PSG. A nice macro from Frank. This time they're punishing PSG. Someone please recall and stop the Lucian from taking an inhib when you get the chance.
Yeah, someone needs to recall. They are going to get this tower, and through will come this recall eventually. But it's going to be the mid lane. It's going to be Wako who's trying to stack up. That's going to get caught out. Permafrost's going to land. Gemini's now here, but he might be just a little bit too late. He's going to have that sweep available. No, he doesn't. Yeah, the Lefty Lullaby not up. And Woody finds his way in. The flash away from Gemini does keep him alive, and Woody will be going down. No ultimate on that Rakan means there's not really all that much play, but Betty's still just sitting here, firing away these Mystic shots. In the meanwhile, though, Maple, he's just farming away. He's working now on this mid lane tower, just picking up more and more gold for himself as PSG just win 4v5 across the map.
Yeah, Maple decides to take some jungle camps and try rotate up rather than push the bot lane tier 3. Nice dodge by Wako. Still finds himself... no sums here. Is kind of crazy how long Wako does survive. But, you know, you don't have members here as PSG, and I think Frank punished it very well. I do think it was a mistake from Maple to not take the tier 3. Rare macro indecisiveness, I think, from PSG, as Maple walks halfway up and decides to just do Raptors instead of coming to the fight. And yeah, Frank, you know, get a little macro win back for themselves as once again, Maple just finds himself up a substantial amount of gold.
Yeah, and it's really on him to get this one across the line for the side of PSG. The rest of the map definitely scaling up, and Betty doing a lot of damage. Top. But yeah, teleport coming through. Kaiwing's going to be able to spot it out. They know Maple's here. Is there any angle to look for Pretender, though, as he's just having to back away from the tower? Arja now getting to work on this.
TP.
He's just farming away on the bot side. You see Maple coming in to claim himself this tower. I think, honestly, correctly identifying who should have the gold at this stage.
Yeah, fortunately, PSG can never really just hit the dragon. for one, it is Gemini on the enemy team, and will probably find his way into the pit with or without his flash. Does lose his blue buff, though. And he is, you know, you'd hope he was a bit further ahead this game, considering the start he had on the Lilia into a Tang. But game is not in a... it should just be a winning state, I think, for Frank.
Yeah.
As Aja's just building Magic Pen for the Nasus, who just got to build a Frozen Heart against an AP champ.
Yeah, Yi Jung, very strong. Really yet to see this Nasus have all that much impact outside of just beating Kennen down in lane.
Yeah, and surviving a dive or two. Feels good. Helps the team a lot. Especially when you're getting out macro. You win a lot of tempo when they commit 3 members and can't kill this Nasus, or even take a long time to kill him.
Now Wako getting awfully close. 25 stacks. Pretender though being looked at.
Checking.
He is trading back very well, and in fact, almost getting the kill there for himself, but not quite.
Yeah, underestimating his damage there maybe. He could have actually just killed the Lucian there.
I think I underestimated his damage too.
Yeah, and as we said, this Corki, it's not a hard counter in the Lucian, right? The lane is difficult. Oh wow, Aja has to TP just to get away from this Nasus. They're down a TP now. Have to lane the Lucian into the Nasus, lest they drop a Baron.
Yeah.
Here's Engage.
Being looked at, does have Battle Dance to get back to Junja. Now, importantly, there was Ghost used for Yi Jung, so it's going to be a lot harder for him to find effectiveness in those fights without the additional speed boost that Summoner does provide you.
Yeah, but now I think as the Nasus, you right-click the enemy tier 2 and make PSG either force on the Baron or rotate multiple members, because this Kennen is not hanging in there. And even if he is in the bot lane, he has no TP. You can find an angle to just TP this Nasus in and start the Baron up.
Wako very close now to having those stacks online.
Timing's alone. He has to be careful.
Yeah, Aja just not willing to go anywhere on the map outside of where his tower is.
Yeah, he can't show. Okay, this is scary for PSG. They're down a TP, but Aja's here.
Oh my god, Betty's damage is insane.
Yeah. Frank need to play this slow. They haven't seen Aja. They don't know where he is. He has no TP, so they just need to play it slow and they'll gain advantages for their Nasus. Now, Waka's going to be able to hold onto this mid tower forever. They have to find a clean engage onto him. Giga Chad not going cleanse on the Smolder. I think that's crazy against the Sejuani Kennen, but so far, making it look fine.
Yep, got his stacks, importantly, off that last wave. So now,
massive.
About as online as the Smolder's ever going to be.
Yeah.
Covering looking aggressive here. He's going to get knocked up. Going to have to use that ult, and Mum come through. Is only going to connect onto Betty, who, you know, is a priority target, but he's going to be fine to just get on out of there.
Yeah, lifesteal back up pretty easily, and you're going to be missing this Alistair and Smolder ulti for the Dragon fight now. Aja needs to go find himself a flank, and Jung needs to go match this Kennen.
Yeah, Aja's certainly trying to find himself a Frank as he bides his time in these bushes. But that Frank is not willing to come into the river. They're going to just give over this Dragon, and again, sort of feeling the benefit of getting those 2 early Dragons. They don't have to be pressured to do anything around this objective just yet.
Yeah, and not even the Baron threatened by Frank. No contest, no Baron threat. Puzzling with how quickly they do the Baron. Even the Nasus, monster on this Baron. 400 stacks for Jung. Needs to get his butt to the bot lane, though. Catch that big wave.
Yeah, Maple's certainly heading down there as we've already seen him take 1 tower in that bot side. Assistance ping.
Decides to not go for it. Is very depressed about the state of this bot wave. If he doesn't go farm it, it's just 2 or 3 waves slowly pushing into Frank.
Yeah, Junja spots that Pretender does recall there, so Maple's going to be aware that there's a Corki.
I actually, now that I think about it, much prefer the gold funneled onto Corki. Jung actually TP'd at some point. I didn't realize. I thought he walked up to make that play, so commits his TP and team still loses the Dragon. Very depressing. Please don't freeze, man. Just push. Jung gonna get the...
Oh. Woody gets it.
Yeah, misjudging his damage a little bit there is Yi Jung. And a little bit off the map are Frank right now. Have to wait to get reestablished, and Gemini and Kaiwing have linked up now.
And PSG have bought this gold all back to even.
Yeah, and it just feels like they permanently have control. Whether they have their TPs or not, whether they have their cooldowns or not, just playing the map significantly better. Wako's just been stuck under his tower the whole game, despite, I mean, he should be online on the Smolder at this point.
Interesting this game that Maple is not going for the Black Cleaver, but instead the LDR. Or potentially the Mortal Reminder.
Prioritizing his own damage, maybe. Will do more damage solo as the Lucian, but Black Cleaver is very common as a third item in this build. Uses ability haste very well, the Lucian, and because he's so low range, you like that little bit of HP on the Black Cleaver too.
Yeah, you also just apply it almost immediately.
Yeah, insta. I mean, Pretender is stronger in the 1v1. We've seen him just chunking Maple, so it puzzles me that Maple permanently has priority. And same deal with the Smolder. It feels like at some point Smolder's got to be getting stronger than the Sezreal as the scaling champ, but still unwilling to just push past his tower. Gemini's alone. No, has Kyming with him, actually.
Yeah,
here we go.
We'll go aggressive onto Ginger, but that is not the target you want. We've seen them try it last game and did not go too well for them. Ginger, on the other hand, just pulls the trigger here onto Kaiwing as Biddy with that two-shot barrage. It will go wide, and Kaiwing's turning this around, but he is getting taken out so low. Gemini looking for the play, finds the two-man sleep. He's trying to follow up. Ginger limping away back to his AD carry, who's trying to find the damage, and keep an eye on Arja. Arja's in at the flank. It's going to mean that Frank don't feel comfortable walking any further up, and nobody getting taken out. Maple does lose his flash. Ginger likewise lost his flash, but still no real angle for a Baron because of those champions still being up and available.
Oh, they're funneling them.
They found it. They found the angle, and Arja has one-shot Gemini. Maple 2 finds a nice trade, finds the kill onto Yi Zhang. It's a 3v5 now as PSG. They find the angle. They find that top jungle lacking in the river and will claim themselves 2 kills.
Yeah, Frank overcommit onto a crab there, and PSG intelligently funnel them up to their Kennen. Kennen, no ulti now, is pretty useless, but what can the Smolder and Corki do? They have a lot of damage.
Kyming trying to find a way in. Pretender.
Yeah, this
a lot
looks
of damage.
iffy. Carries have to stop hitting for PSG. Who's killing this Baron?
Yeah, Trisha Barrage coming through. Not going to land onto anything. This Baron going down so slowly, but Betty's going to be able to get into that pit, and with that, the Baron will be taken out. Arja trying to zone away, as is everyone really for PSG. Wako now going aggressive, trying to find his way onto Junja, but won't be able to do so.
Yeah, frustrating game for Frank there. It just seems like PSG are playing a little smarter on the map as, I mean, they're just caught looking for this crab. They won a fight right before this. And Nasus is just helping killing the Scuttle Crab. Is the Scuttle Crab that important? Not really. PSG play well to funnel them up into their cannon. Finally find this flank for Aja, who, like we said, is just a much more useful champ on the cannon than the Nasus. Need to do something in the side lane with the Nasus to justify this pick. So far, not working out.
2 minutes of Baron now. PSG have it is hard still, even though you have the Baron to push into the Smolder, as you see Wako just clearing wave after wave in that middle lane. We'll see. Through comes that Glacial Prison. It's going to be answered with the Alistair ult, so that's a big cooldown down on both sides of the rift, but the Culling finding a lot of chip damage there onto Wako as well as Kaiwing. But still, the wave clears there. The Smolder champion is not going to falter when it comes to clearing waves despite the Baron available.
Yeah, I'm not even sure PSG win the 5v5 still. They did, win a fight to get themselves the Baron there, but the Smolder and Corki are very, very strong. So is the Lilia, just into PSG's comp generally. Frank just need to figure out one of these team fights, pull the trigger, and find a clean team fight for themselves. They give up their tier 1 mid. Not the end of the world, considering the enemy team has Baron, Wako, and Gemini chunked.
Yeah, teleport now coming through from Pretender. Mum does come through to try and clear out some of that wave, but not going to be able to do all that much. Jiang, you see there on the bottom of your screen, trading with Arja, and the trade's not looking too hot for him at the moment, especially because he can't pull the trigger with so many people around.
Yeah, and PSG going to play some side lanes now. I think this makes a bit more sense. They are going to be able to stretch Frank thin so that Frank cannot walk up on this tier 1. No Alistair ult available for Kaiwing.
Yeah, that is another tower. 2 towers now taken out in the duration of this Baron buff, and PSG, they were behind, but now find themselves with a 3k gold advantage here as they look to take home the series. They're 1 dragon away as well from that Ocean Soul, which is going to be so difficult for the champions on their side of Frank to deal with.
Yeah, they just do have better champs, I think, at this point in the game on Frank. They just need to find a clean engage. They've been getting outplayed all game. You know, barring a couple of dragon fights and maybe a couple dives, as they're not able to just control their jungle the entire game, whether they have the gold lead or PSG have the gold lead. Frank just cannot get a hold of their jungle, whether it's top side or bot side.
Ooh. Bated breath whenever you see someone with that Lilia passive above their head, but Maple's going to be okay. No one around really to support Gemini.
Yeah, no cleanse, no QSS. On the Lucian is very vulnerable to this Lilia. 560 stacks. Oh, we're double stacking on Frank. I didn't even think about that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, but you see, the Nasus just kind of gets kited by these champions, gets CC'd despite the Merc Treads. Has a lot of damage if he does get onto anyone.
Yeah, it can certainly be very strong, but it's just been a struggle for him to really find a foothold in fights. It's so hard. He has to kind of mark the cannon. Will win that isolated 1v1 you have to feel, but Aja's just not providing him an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, just Aja playing very patiently on the cannon. Hasn't gotten a chance to do all that much this game, but when he's been given a chance, I mean, he's put PSG in the position they're in now with a very nice ulti onto Gemini and Jiang earlier. The almost Rabadon's completed for this cannon.
Yeah, will be a lot stronger at that spike, but Maple as well, I don't know what he's going to go, i.e. Bloodthirster maybe. Hold up, Jiang being caught out on the bot side, but does manage to pop that ult and just run on the opposite direction and will feel pretty good about himself.
Yeah, ultimately 2 ults for 1. PSG just testing the waters, and what's strange to me is that Frank are not able to get even a top wave or a mid wave shoving while PSG commits so many members. And, you know, Jiang plays well to get out of there. And, yeah, Frank's just looking lost on the map this game. Maybe some 0-2 nerves for Frank, it feels like. A couple of these fights, they have strong champions and could be playing a lot more aggressively, especially on Gemini. But just unwilling to.
Yep. Jiang did lose his ghost in that bot lane exchange, so he's going to be a lot weaker around those team fights on the Nasus, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Much less of a threat.
Yeah. Has this the Infinity Edge picked up by Maple, sitting at 4 items now. Very, very strong. Certainly the most strong champion on the Rift, as Pretender getting close to having that LDR online, at which point maybe he would be considered the strongest.
Yeah, long way from the IE, though, is this Corki. Feeling like he has to go for the LDR on Pretender, I completely disagree. There's not actually very much armor at all on the side of PSG. I think he could have just gone for the IE now, but I mean, we'll be doing plenty of damage on the Corki anyway. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like Frank are out of the game by any means. It's just been about 15 minutes of them constantly being outplayed, macro and micro. Here we go.
Purple Worm is spawning, and Climbing's going to use his ult to trade there with the Sejuani, and the forward from Woody. He does manage to find a nice great entrance, but Gemini, he goes golden. Jiang now teleporting in. He's going to be pretty strong here as long as he can find access to one of these carries, but so far he's just running the opposite direction. Climbing's going to do something to appeal for his team and not able to really do so. And there's a nice chunk of damage dealt though by Gemini on the way out, as you see Betty and Maple losing a bit of health there. Wako walking forward, finds a Q and doing certainly a lot of damage on the Smolder at this point of the game. PSG looking a little lost in this fight as Woody gets clapped by the slow there. But yeah, Aja,
they have no idea.
Oh god. Okay, they spot him. They spot out this cannon. Aja's position now will be 9, but that doesn't make it any easier for Frank to try and play. They don't know where to go. They don't know how to go about this team fight. As PSG, Betty especially, just going forward, continuing to find bits of poke as Pretender trying to do the same, and one auto attack on a Maple's like half his HP, as well as that rocket barrage connecting there. It's on a nice edge.
And Gemini will win this fight in the 1v1 with the Sejuani. Frank can now pretty safely head to the Dragon because Junji is not there to... Oh, the TP from Aja to the bot lane. Did they see it? I don't think so.
I'm not sure if they know, but Arj is down there.
God.
Oh, God, Arj is there. Timing goes aggressive, but here comes the slicing Maelstrom. They found their way into Wako, who has been completely annihilated. Now, Gemini gets stuck in there. He flashes forward. He's doing whatever he can, but what he can is not enough, as only Pretender stands. This is your tournament on the line here. Your upper bracket position is on the line, and only Pretender to try and defend.
Yeah, and it's going to be probably Soul into Baron. We'll see if PSG, they look like they want to try end here. I think this might be a mistake. It is 30 seconds on Wako. You imagine the moment he spawns, all these waves immediately die for PSG. We'll see if they go beyond the inhib here, as Pretender has quite a bit of wave clear himself.
Yeah, the teleport coming through means all 5 members of PSG will be here.
No, it's over.
Yeah, this game does look completely over, and Pretender has been completely one-shot. And with that, it's our first 3-0 of the second stage of the playoffs, and it's PSG Talon who advance.
Yeah, we said the cannon would be more useful than the Nasus later on, and Aja proved us right with a really smart TP. He TPs to his own wave right before it comes into vision of Frank, and because of that, they have no idea. They were keeping track of the cannon, thinking he's with his team in the mid lane. Suddenly he appears from the bot side. Wako uses his flash, but from one end of the cannon ult to the other one.
Yeah, just gets one shot. I mean, RJ, kind of the MVP of that game, had a very tough lane phase, and Yi Jiang, I think, ultimately proving this Nasus champ does very well into the cannon, but it just wasn't enough. And those men on your screen there, PSG Talon, they are going to advance forward to play the winner of tomorrow's game. And I mean, you have to be feeling pretty confident as them, because, you know, they started a little bit behind in game 1, got it back through macro. Game 2, just destroyed that game. And then game 3, again, they found quite far behind, and Frank truly should have probably been able to win that game. But PSG, they came back just bit by bit, little by little, until eventually the game broke open. RJ finds a fantastic teleport. They are able to take it home.
Yeah, I think Frank had everything they needed to win that game and just got outplayed, hesitated way too often. There were moments where Sejuani Rakan were pushing back Alistair Lilia in the river there, and that should never happen.
Yeah.